high side. Murphy shooting, save a rebound on the view.
Hey everyone, this is Casey. You are watching the Red Rubber Duckwind All Sports Network. It is week 5, and now we have reached the point where many teams are going to be heading into their bye weeks. Like, for example, we have 4 teams on bye this week. That's the Steelers, thank goodness. There's also the Falcons, the Bears, and the Packers. So, we have 14 games instead of 16 this week, and there's going to be some pretty chaotic matchups as well as some pretty decent ones to end the week. So let's go ahead and not waste any more time. Let's go ahead and get into some week 5 predictions. On Thursday Night Football, you got the San Francisco 49ers taking on the Los Angeles Rams in an NFC West showdown. The 49ers are just coming off their first loss of the year against Jacksonville, and the Rams are coming off of giving the Indianapolis Colts their first loss. So for the 49ers, Brock Purdy has had a rocky return, and the receiving core is struggling to rise. And it doesn't help that injuries are plaguing this team. And I think Brock Purdy is going to be out for this contest, and they're going to put in Mac Jones again. And the defense is still going to be reeling from the loss of Nick Bosa, because he did end up tearing his ACL. As for the Rams, Matthew Stafford and Puka Nacua, they've been outpacing the NFL with 42 catches and 503 receiving yards. And besides corners, there's nothing holding this team back. And I think it's going to continue tonight. I'm going to say the Rams take it in LA. Next up, we got a London game over at Tottenham. We got the Minnesota Vikings taking on the Cleveland Browns. This is back-to-back international games for the Vikings. Of course, they just lost to the Steelers over in Dublin, Ireland. And the Browns are coming off of a 34-10 loss to Detroit. For the Vikings, the injuries to the most expensive offensive line in football have been insurmountable at times, because last week they gave up 6 sacks to the Steelers defense. And patience is needed for J.J. McCarthy's development, because I think they're going to go with Carson Wentz for right now. For the Cleveland Browns, the defense has given up 222.5 yards per game. But this is still considered one of the top defenses in the NFL. And the rookies show promise, but the offense has been shaky so far this year, with many turnovers being baked. And they're going to go bench Joe Flacco this week. They're going to put in Dylan Gabriel. Let's see how that experiment goes for them. But I'm going to say the Cleveland Browns beat the Vikings in London. Next up, we got the Houston Texans taking on the Baltimore Ravens. If you were to tell me that both of these teams would be 1-3, I'd be asking you for Powerball numbers right now. Of course, the Texans, they're the defending AFC South champions. And the Baltimore Ravens, they were considered a preseason Super Bowl favorite. And now they both sit at 1-3, trying to salvage their season after a horrible start. For the Texans, it's simple. The plan to fix the offense has backfired spectacularly, with C.J. Stroud constantly running for his life because he has no offensive line. And the defense has been able to provide favorable field position, but they can't take advantage of it. Yeah, you beat the Titans, but they were also winless going into their game. Like, that's not much of an accomplishment. For the Ravens, the offense cannot do it alone. And the Ravens are dealing with Lamar Jackson's hamstring injury. So you got that handicap. And injuries on the defense doesn't help either. So this is a very shocking tank bowl to say the least. But I'm going to say the Ravens find a way to bounce back and win it. Next up, we got the Miami Dolphins taking on the Carolina Panthers. The Dolphins are just coming off their first win of the year. And after an abysmal week 1 against Indianapolis, they kept on fighting back. And it finally paid off in a Tank Bowl win over the New York Jets. However, they are going to lose Tyreek Hill with an injury where the leg should not bend that way. And that's going to hurt Miami in the long term. For the Panthers, outside of the game against the Falcons, the Panthers are in pushing the panic button territory. Because surrendering 42 unanswered points to the Patriots, that might warrant some changes going forward for Carolina. And that's why I'm going to say the Miami Dolphins take this one despite all the injuries that are going on on that roster. Next up, we got the Las Vegas Raiders taking on the Indianapolis Colts. Both of them coming off of completely heartbreaking losses. For the Raiders, they're coming off of a blocked field goal leading to a loss. The Colts are coming off their first loss of the year. For the Raiders, Ashton Jeanty has not been getting the protection necessary to get hot. And that's why he hasn't been producing the type of rushing yards he's been getting at Boise State. But after a 240-yard rushing day, like one of the highest totals for a team so far this year, they might go back on track. But for the Colts, they would be unbeaten if not for Adonai Mitchell's 2 blunders and forgetting how to count to 11 on the game-winning play. Now, some players are letting the flame die out, and they cannot let it happen, especially against a team like the Raiders. And I don't think they're going to. I'm going to say Indianapolis goes to 4-1. Next up, you got the New York Giants taking on the New Orleans Saints. For the Giants, they're coming off an upset over the Los Angeles Chargers. Jackson Dart had himself a debut. However, they did suffer a severe handicap with Malik Neighbors tearing his ACL, so that might hurt them in the long term. For the Saints, they have the 3rd worst point differential in the league with negative 55. However, they did keep Buffalo on their toes last week, and they have not had a lead since week 1 against Arizona. And that might hurt them. I'm going to say the Giants come out and win. Next up, you got the Dallas Cowboys taking on the New York Jets. The Cowboys are coming off of a super tie against the Green Bay Packers. And without Micah Parsons, the Cowboys defense is getting ripped apart. Yes, you nearly beat the Packers, but that's because of your offense, not your defense. Because without Micah Parsons, you're getting ripped apart for 297.3 yards a game. Engaging in weekly shootouts can only get you so far. And right now, it's giving you a 1-2-1 record. For the Jets, the basics of pre-snap penalties and fumbles, they're treating it like it's advanced calculus, like they haven't figured that out yet. And the defense is constantly getting caught off guard despite all the talent on it. And it's going to come back to bite them. I'm going to say the Dallas Cowboys win it. Next up, we got the Denver Broncos taking on the Philadelphia Eagles. Both of them are coming off wins. The Eagles beat the Buccaneers in the Battle of the Unbeatens last week. Meanwhile, the Broncos are coming off of a 28-3 win, the logical Canadians' favorite score, on Monday Night Football. But for the Broncos, the offense has not been getting off to the start that Sean Payton has promised. And they can't stop digging their own graves, and penalties have not been helpful. For the Eagles, the offense has not been producing as much as they'd hoped with Saquon Barkley and A.J. Brown. Yet they still find themselves at 4-0. That just shows how dangerous of a team this is. And the special teams, they were extra special so far this season, with a blocked kick and then punt returns return for touchdowns. So yeah, the special teams is definitely one of the strongest suits for the Eagles. I think it might help them out. I'm going to say the Philadelphia Eagles win it. Next up, we got the Tennessee Titans taking on the Arizona Cardinals. The Titans are coming off a shutout loss to the Texans. Meanwhile, the Cardinals are coming off a heartbreaking loss on Thursday Night Football against Seattle. For Cam Ward, he has been getting a warm welcome in the form of getting sacked 17 times, which is a league high. And he has shown frustration with the offense with some less than family language in press conferences. And for the Cardinals, Kyler Murray and Marvin Harrison Jr. have been a major disappointment. And for the defense, they've made some progress with Josh Sweat and Calais Campbell, but that can only get the Cardinals so far. In this, I'm going to say the Arizona Cardinals take advantage of a depleted Tennessee Titans squad. Next up, we got the Tampa Bay Buccaneers taking on the Seattle Seahawks. So for the Buccaneers, they're just coming off their first loss of the year against a very good Eagles team. And for the Seahawks, they're coming off of surviving Arizona on Thursday night. Some late game mojo came back to bite the Buccaneers, and special teams errors as well have bitten the Buccaneers in the butt with 2 punts and a field goal blocked. However, there is some promise with Baker Mayfield showing Emeka Egbuka emerging, as well as the return of Chris Godwin. That might help out the Buccaneers a bit. But in a three-way tie in the NFC West, Sam Darnold has taken advantage of the long ball, and Jackson Smith and Jigba is benefiting from it. And Mike McDonald's defense has been difficult to cut through. And you saw that, and I saw that during week 2 when the Steelers played the Seahawks. And I think it might help them here. I'm going to say Seattle wins it. Next up, we got the Detroit Lions taking on the Cincinnati Bengals. For the Lions, they have reclaimed the title of the NFL's highest scoring offense this year. And then Kelvin Shepard's defense performed very well. And last week they picked up 7 sacks as well as baking 3 apple turnovers. For the Bengals, they are in survival mode while Joe Burrow is recovering from turf toe. So it's going to be a very, very long season for Cincinnati. And they lost by a combined 63 points in the last 2 games. And that number might reach 100, to be completely honest, this week. And I'm going to say Detroit is going to run over the Bengals. Next up, we got the Washington Commanders taking on the Los Angeles Chargers. For the Commanders, their defense got ripped apart by a team that got shut out against Carolina for 436 yards. The offense needs Jaden Daniels and Terry McLaurin back very, very soon to clean up mistakes. And for the Chargers, those last 2 games saw a decrease in offensive line protection for Justin Herbert. And it also doesn't help that Joe Alt left in the middle of the Giants game. But I think the Chargers do have the talent to bounce back. I'm going to say LA wins it. Next up, we got Sunday Night Football, and a very good matchup at that. We have the New England Patriots traveling to Buffalo to take on the undefeated Bills. For the Patriots, they're showing signs of a remarkable turnaround. Drake May has gotten better, and it shows in his passer rating of 109.4. And the defense is also having a breakout, and they're having corner Christian Gonzalez back. That's going to help the Patriots. That's going to help out the Patriots immensely. For the Bills, the month of September saw the offense adapt, especially in the fourth quarter. They're still rocky at safety, and they are failing to stop the run at times. But I think the Bills, they do have the talent to go 5-0. I'm going to say Buffalo wins it. And last but not least, we got Monday Night Football, Kansas City traveling to Jacksonville. For the Chiefs, they're starting to recover from their early slump on offense, And Rashee Rice is going to be back in a couple weeks, so that might help out the Chiefs. And it also helps that Xavier Worthy also made his return, and he's providing a problem for defenses everywhere. As for the Jaguars, Trevor Lawrence is having one of his worst years, and his receivers are dropping almost every pass, especially Brian Thomas. And the defense, however, they are a very strong unit. They forced a league best 13 turnovers, and they're one of the main reasons why the Jaguars are at 3-1. However, I think they're going to struggle against Kansas City and go 3-2. I'm going to say Kansas City wins it against the Jaguars. But that is going to do it from me. Thank you guys so much for watching. Please feel free to like, comment, share this with your friends, and subscribe to the Red Rubber Duckman All Sports Network. I'm not sure what I'm going to do for Week 5 because the Steelers do have a bye. I'm going to play it by ear, but I will let you know in the community tab my schedule going forward. But until we meet again, I will see you all in the